Morning, YouTube. What's up? Okay, then. Well, let's see what we got cooking so far this fine Friday morning. I know Steph's already at it. Oh, and first, you know what? I better pull you guys up here. Hopefully the Rumble feed has been behaving properly the last 24 hours since I fixed it up. Seems like it has been every time I've checked in on it. Oh, wow. Hiding right by me. Authorities say Isabel Idalia Morales Mejia, a Salvadoran illegal alien, was wanted for murder in her home country. This little thing. Wanted for murder. And had been living here in the U.S. in Northern Virginia while evading law enforcement. Wait, had been, has been, is being, is hiding? Is she now, or was she? Has she been caught? Yes, they've arrested her. Okay. It's confusingly worded. All right, let me go down to the bottom. Bottom of the barrel here. Wee. And actually, let's see if there's anything I missed that I tagged. Probably just AI bullshit. Yeah. Okay. Do. Well, bam. All right, that's good. That was the last stuff we covered last night. I don't think we covered this one though. What is this? Someone wants Pritzker in jail?
Obama, we're calling on you and Michelle. You and Michelle.
That's right. I like this lady.
Apologize to Chicago for doing this. You come and apologize to South Shore for moving all these people out. Displacing all these people. Having J.B. Bristol steal our property. Obama, before you come and cut that ribbon on this ugly building, come and apologize to South Side of Chicago. To Chicago, period. Period. People stood behind you, thinking that you was going to be about something and you wasn't about nothing. You owe us an apology. We want an apology from Barack Obama.
We not leaving. We here all summer until he come. We here all summer until he come.
Good for you, girl.
Obama.
Use the whole obnoxious black woman thing to your advantage and our advantage. I like it. Be big, be loud, be proud. Chinese scientists have been dying mysterious deaths too, allegedly. Yeah, well, I don't know. Sounds like a guy just got in a car crash to me. Could be. Hard to say without knowing the details of the car crash, I guess. But yeah, people get in car crashes all the time, especially in big cities. So I guess some Chinese scientist has croaked in a car crash at age 38. Yeah, I don't know. DHS will allocate $7.5 million next year. Oh, this is on the smart glasses thing. Yeah.
DHS is setting aside $7.5 million to build an operational prototype of smart glasses as early as next year. That's according to the 2027 DHS budget proposal. Now, we don't really know exactly what these glasses would look like or do because the prototype hasn't even been built, but we have an idea that the goal is to allow federal agents and officers to access biometric data, to run that against a database in real time, so they would be able to identify people that are in the country illegally by using these glasses, and it would be very efficient and very quick that they would be able to do this. Now, they're also talking about it kind of bridging some gaps in between Border Patrol and ICE, so they would be used from the moment of encounter to the moment of removal to allow them to streamline kind of that data.
Smart, though. Makes sense.
That's coming from those biometrics from those individuals that would be stored in that database for them all to be able to access. Now, when it comes to
just from a technological standpoint, it's hard to deny the utility of that.
Tools in real time on the ground. Now,
whether I want to live in a country where that is like the norm, it's another question entirely. I don't know.
Now, we heard from retired Border Patrol Chief Jason Owens, who said any tool that they can use that would allow them to do their job a little bit better would be welcome and should be welcome by the public.
I think anything we can do to help them get that information, that knowledge faster, the better. When they do come into contact with somebody, most of the time they're outnumbered and they have no idea who that individual is. And with respect to the concerns about the public, I think that's done every day. People film everybody on their phones every day. If you're in public, I certainly don't see.
Yes, so they do.
A lot of people upset whenever they do that to our Border Patrol agents. And so I would ask, what's the difference?
Now, critics say this is unconstitutional.
There's a big difference. I mean,
it's an invasion of privacy that they would be used to identify U.S. citizens or protesters more so during operations than as an immigration tool. But when I talked with agents and officers in the field, they say they would like to see something like this that would allow them to do their job better, because if they're running around in the brush all by themselves and they encounter,
it's going to cross the line really quick into pre-crime type shit. Crime prediction. You watch. That's where that'll go.
Or someone.
We will be living in Minority Report before you can even blink.
They might have nefarious intent, and this will allow them to kind of figure that out in a more efficient and
they don't need smart glasses for that. They'll be doing it with every camera that exists.
Manner.
But just generally speaking, like, yeah, I don't want to live in a. It's one thing if it's being. It's very strictly limited to like specific scenarios.
To take a picture.
But if it's just wide open and it can be used to track and collect data on literally everybody and anybody, like it's one thing if it's something that can be used like after the fact, say like in an ongoing case where it's, collected evidence, but when you start getting into it crosses the line into not just providing evidence for an existing case, but creating new cases and tracking people and looking for things to fuck them over on. That's a different thing. That's crossing the line, in my opinion.
If you're in public, I certainly don't see a lot of people upset whenever they do that to our Border Patrol agents. And so I would ask, what's the difference?
Now, critics say this is unconstitutional. It's an invasion of privacy that they would be used to identify U.S. citizens or protesters.
Yeah.
More so.
That's where it will be used. Guarantee it. Even if they're not doing that now, it's a short hop, skip, and a jump into doing that as soon as they get their foot in the door. So
during operations than as an immigration tool. But when I talked with agents and officers in the field, they say they would like to see something like this that would allow them to do their job better, because if they're running around in the brush all by themselves.
Oh yeah, we saw that. All right. Beep.
Now,
tornado emergency has been issued. This is last night. The Oklahoma tornado.
Vance right now. Right in the middle of Vance Air Force Base, heading east. Sorry, guys. It has gotten bigger, seems to still be getting bigger. It is not moving very fast.
It's a chungus.
It's just not moving fast. Right, dagnabbit, right in the middle of Vance. Got lots of emergency vehicles heading this way. It still seems to be going east, not really moving to the north much. Hopefully Enid's going to be all right. I hope. I don't know, though. If you are in Enid, get ready. Definitely be ready in Enid. But it is all over Vance right now, right in the middle of the base, and it's just not going very fast. It is just staying right there.
That thing's freaking huge, man. Yikes. Whoa.
Over here.
Oh, shit. Well, hot dang. Whoa. Dang, buddy. That's some damage. Look at that. Woo-wee. That, I think, was a building. At one point in time. And that, and all that shit. Jeez. Toast. Hope everyone's okay, man. That is... Yeah, wow. Mass casualty incident has been declared in and around Vance Air Force Base, extending towards Enid, Oklahoma Woodring Regional Airport, following an extremely large and powerful tornado that moved through the area under tornado emergency.
Oh my.
Wow. Dude. Gone.
We're live here. Yeah, good morning. We're live here in Enid, just 3 miles east of Vance Air Force Base, following last night's tornado emergency. Behind me, I want to give you an idea of the damage we're seeing this morning here in Garfield County. This is a structure that has been completely mangled by the tornadoes that swept through here last night. It has been leveled down to its foundation. What you're looking at is the concrete slab. We have metal. We have wood piled up. We have active water pipe bursts. We had crews out here fixing the gas line. So this gives you an idea.
Just completely chewed up.
Just how fresh this scene is for our community here in Enid. And this is just a...
That is wild.
Small taste of the damage we're seeing here on Southgate Road. And as the light comes up, the sun comes up, we're going to see and understand a fuller scope of the damage we're seeing here in Enid. Back to you. Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, dude. Yes. Look at that.
In the Brantley County.
Hold on, let me pipe my bot down here. I forgot he was working on something, and then he's like, he was waiting for input from me, so I answered a question, and now he's like, I'll spin it again. Chirping. Okay. There is my config file. There you are. Okay, he should be a quiet boy now. There we go.
Fire still burning out of control just beyond these roadblocks, with officials telling more people that they may have to leave their homes soon. They say if they aren't able to get this fire under control, they may even have to call in federal support.
This morning, those fast-moving wildfires triggering a new wave of evacuations in South Georgia.
We currently have now 87
basically living spaces, living places that have been destroyed.
Officials desperately trying to contain the two largest, the nearly 30,000-acre Pineland Road fire and the Highway 82 fire in Brantley County, burning 5,000-plus acres. Lucky Bragg overcome with emotion as she laid eyes on the flames still tearing through her and her mother's homes, taking this cell phone video of the damage.
That's her mama's home right there. And that's Lucky Dim's house right there.
Bragg, a volunteer firefighter herself, in disbelief at the speed in which the fire spread.
When you look at this, it's heartbreaking. I don't see a home. I see nothing but metal. But I see memories. That's all I see.
Aww.
91 counties now under a state of emergency in South Georgia, with plumes of smoke overtaking the skies, air quality alerts from Jacksonville to Columbia, South Carolina.
Man.
And Georgia Governor Brian Kemp is set to survey the damage and also meet with first responders later today, Rachel.
Still less than 20% contained. Okay, Morgan, thank you.
Man, oh man. President Trump just said the 2020 election should likely be wiped from the books with no force or effect. The SPLC, one of the greatest political scams in American history, has been charged with fraud. This is another Democrat hoax, along with Act Blue and many others. It is true. The 2020 presidential election should be permanently wiped from the books and be of no further force or effect. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I'm President Trump.
Clearly tonight, we'll see even more clearly tonight where the Republicans are, not on the side of lowering costs, but on the side of masked agents occupying our streets. Where the heck are you? America is crying out for relief from
for illegal immigrants to be deported?
High costs, and you're here adding $140 billion to an agency that nobody, to two groups, Border Patrol and ICE, that nobody respects in this country.
Nobody. Except for half the country, who apparently is nobody to Chuck Schumer.
We'll see even more clearly tonight.
That's right, you are a nobody to him.
Where the Republicans are, not on the side of lowering.
You do not matter. In fact, you don't even exist, as far as he's concerned. A freight train just, slammed into a semi. It got stuck at a railway crossing just seconds after the driver bailed from the truck. Oh, man. Hey. Special Forces soldier and his insider trading on the Maduro raid.
George, what a stunning arrest of a Special Forces soldier who was about to go on a top secret mission and allegedly decided to lay a big bet on its chances of success. This morning, a Special Forces soldier is due in federal court on charges he used classified information.
Can't be doing that shit, man.
To bet on the commando raid that ousted Venezuelan strongman Nicolas Maduro.
I don't know what gets in people's heads with this shit. Like, you have to know in the moment, like, I shouldn't be doing this, and if I get caught, it's going to be really, really bad for me.
Before it happened, federal prosecutors said Master Sergeant Gannon Ken Van Dyke placed bets on Polymarket on the timing and outcome of that very operation, all to turn a profit of more than $400,000. While helping to plan and execute the operation to capture Maduro, the indictment said Van Dyke opened a Polymarket account and traded on Maduro and Venezuela-related contracts on 13 separate occasions, including in the hours.
If nothing else, that is a national security risk.
Before the
if foreign nations get it in their head to start monitoring the activity of accounts like his somehow, which I doubt would be terribly difficult for a nation-state level actor. Not too much of a stretch to assume they could probably infer what's going to happen in the near future based on bets that certain people are making. Not good.
Paid when he wagered Maduro out by January 31st. The soldier is charged with fraud and unlawful use of confidential government information for personal gain. The first time the Justice Department is prosecuting alleged insider trading on a prediction market. There are now calls for Congress to investigate well-timed bets on prediction markets. A polymarket.
It's not the only one. There have been a lot of others coming out of D.C.
User made more than $500,000 through a series of bets related to the war in Iran and the toppling of Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. And right before President Trump scrapped plans to attack Iranian power plants, traders successfully bet almost $1 billion oil prices would fall. Asked whether he's concerned federal employees like the soldier now facing criminal charges may be profiting from inside information, the president appeared to downplay it.
That's like Pete Rose betting on his own team. It's a little like Pete Rose. Pete Rose, they kept him out of the Hall of Fame because he bet on his own team. Now, if he bet against his team, that would be no.
Yeah, see, in that respect, it's really not that bad. Like, if it weren't for the national security aspect, it really wouldn't be that big a deal. But that really is a serious concern.
But he bet on his own team. I'll look into it.
The president's eldest son, Don Jr., is an advisor to and investor in Polymarket, and one of the president's namesake companies announced last year it would launch its own prediction market. As for the soldier who was stationed at Fort Bragg, he's due in a North Carolina court today before he's brought here to New York to face charges. George, there are already calls in Congress for him to receive a pardon. And
interesting.
No doubt there will be a trade on Polymarket.
And you saw the president mention
on his case, of course.
And Pete Rose there, he actually called for a pardon of Pete Rose as well. These markets are so ripe for corruption.
And we've seen all these big bets that happen sometimes just minutes before a major world event. Not always as earth-shaking as the war in Iran. Maybe Taylor Swift's engagement or the awarding of a Nobel Peace Prize.
And
sports betting.
Harder to trace the stocks than what's happening.
I mean, wasn't there just a case with games being rigged by players, like betting on specific actions happening during the game and doing the action and profiting off of it, like missing a free throw in the third quarter of a basketball game or something. You can bet on like hyper specific stuff like that, like X player misses free throw during final minutes of third quarter. And if you somehow win it, you walk away with gobs of cash. That is so easy to rig if you have someone on the inside on the sports team. The whole thing it just blows my mind. It even continues to operate the way it does. It's crazy. Oh, wow. Tonight's Late Show, Stephen Colbert announcing Barack Obama will be his guest on May 5th. Oh, it'll be Obama's first interview from the Obama Presidential Center in Chicago. President Trump and Elon Musk joined forces with Senator Mike Lee, calling for the Senate GOP to nuke the filibuster and get our policies done. Will they? Nah.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, creepy. Trump with Mayor of LA, Karen Bass, creepy Karen, and Catherine Barger, who dis? Catherine, LA County Supervisor. Discuss fire relief.
Well, and Supervisor.
He apparently presented her a torch, a ceremonial torch, which is really weird if you ask me. It's kind of almost like a dig at her. Just saying. We get the photo? I'm going to show the photo. Nope. Oh well.
Supervisor, welcome to The Story Is.
Thank you. It's good to be on. Good day yesterday, I can tell you that.
Well, and so what exactly came out of that meeting? Are there any tangible action items that came out?
Well, first of all, the mayor and I wanted to thank President Trump for what he did early on. He came out shortly after he was inaugurated and really accelerated the cleanup process. And really, we're a year ahead of what it would have been had he not front-loaded a lot of the resources to get the lots cleaned and EPA to go in and get rid of the hazardous waste and materials. So it was to thank him for that, but also to let him know that the cleanup is done, the rebuild begins. We need the federal government to be a partner along with the state and of course local as well. We have skin in the game as well.
So there's been this big debate about, federal money. Is LA going to get federal money? Did President Trump agree that he would side with Congress, pressure them to pass this and send more federal disaster dollars to California?
Oh, please say no.
Good question. It's something I've learned because when I met with the president yesterday, I've also been up on the Hill. And there are other disasters throughout this country that have occurred, North Carolina, Florida, Texas. It's important for us to recognize that they're also standing in line waiting for assistance. So my goal, and I made this clear to everyone up on the Hill that I met with, is to not leave other states behind. It's important for us to speak with one voice. We're all asking for FEMA reimbursement, which is something that is in the books. Identifying the money is going to be the trick. There's no question about it. And so we've got some heavy lifting to do, but the president was crystal clear that he supports our efforts, recognizing that we have addressed some of the barriers such as permitting. Permitting was an impediment prior to the fires, and now we've gotten it down to like 30 days in our county's hands, which is unbelievable. So we've accelerated that. The building process is occurring. Insurance continues to be a problem. The president tweeted about State Farm Insurance, and they finally acknowledged that they need to do better and respond to the needs of survivors. So, he plays a vital role on so many levels, and we are very grateful that he was able to meet with us and really discuss the concerns that we have to support our survivors.
Yeah, and you, of course, are the only Republican on the LA County Board of Supervisors. Take us inside the meeting, because so many people would like to be a fly on the wall. You were there. What's it like being in the Oval Office with President Trump? What's the dynamic like between President Trump and the liberal mayor of Los Angeles, Karen Bass? Take us there.
Well, I've said this, and I mean it. I wish every American could meet our president one-on-one, and they would understand the love he has for this country and the commitment he has to addressing issues across the board. And I saw it firsthand yesterday. He could not have been more gracious, asked good questions, hard questions, but between Mayor Bass and I, we were able to answer and really give him the answers that I felt he needed to hear, but he could not have been more gracious. Politics went out the door.
Are you saying you just told him what he wanted to hear, ma'am, or
him and Bass like?
It was the same as with me. It was not Republican, Democrat. It was about representatives there to talk about a disaster that occurred. He came out. He saw it firsthand. His concern was, are you going to help the survivors rebuild? And the answer is yes, and we now have a story to tell as it relates to the number of permits that have gone out, but also what our ask is in terms of infrastructure. We've got to rebuild our water infrastructure, roads, across the board, bearing the utilities. He asked about that. He wanted to know what's being done to address that for future fires. So, very well versed in what's going on, and we were able to give him answers.
There was pictures of you guys leaving, and it looked like, did you leave with merch? Did he give you souvenirs on the way out?
He gave me a signed Bible, and he gave me hats, and I will cherish them. So I don't know if you call it swag. I've been...
He gave her a signed Bible. What?
I've been to the West Wing. I've been to the old executive office building under other presidents, and they have swag that they give away. They give away M&Ms. I didn't get any of those, but overall, he could not have been more gracious. And so, yeah, I saw that. I see one of Mayor Bass's opponents was not happy, but you know what? So goes it.
That's Spencer Pratt you're talking about. So what did Mayor Bass, did she get anything?
I did not. Well, that was me carrying it. So when he was tweeting, I was thinking, you know, he got my backside. So I'm glad he
Did she get a torch?
didn't make any nasty comments. But you know, I believe that he gave, I think, a Bible for sure. And he signed each one. And you know, listen, that man is leaning in hard, and I saw it front and center. And then Susie Wiles, I mean, it was an honor for me to meet someone that is the first woman chief of staff to a president, being on an all-women board. She's an amazing, amazing, amazing person as well.
Interesting.
Catherine Barger, LA County Supervisor. Thank
Strange to hear that coming out of the LA County Supervisor.
you so much for sharing your perspective here.
Not exactly what I would have expected. A flurry of powerful cyber attacks had internet experts baffled. What? What this? Benjamin Brundage had a few tricks to help solve the mystery. Let's hear it.
A college student just cracked a cyber mystery threatening tens of millions of people. And it all started with a cat meme.
What?
Well, his classmates at the Rochester Institute of Technology were going to parties. Benjamin Brundage was conducting an investigation. You see, a growing network of hacked devices was conducting some of the largest cyber attacks ever seen on the internet. It had become big enough to take out a state or even a small country. And the 22-year-old was following closely. He spent hours cataloging the IP addresses used on this network and eventually started a small business selling them as a sort of early warning sign to businesses. In September, he was talking about his work on a Discord channel for web scrapers, and he got a message from somebody who had inside knowledge. You can't detect them all, this person wrote. And it seemed to Brundage like they were bragging. Now Brundage wanted some details, but he didn't want to come off as too businesslike or too serious, so he sent a cat meme. And you know what? It worked. The leaker hinted that there was a new kind of vulnerability on the internet, and pulling at the strings of things, Brundage eventually figured out that there were millions of computers affected by this, and as much as a quarter of the world's corporations. Brundage wanted to warn the world, but first he had to finish his finals. But then after he did that, he warned 11 of the companies that were affected by this problem and told them how to fix it. His work helped Google and federal law enforcement eventually take down the network. And a researcher I talked with at the time joked that if Brundage had spent too much time on his exams, the internet might have gone down.
Interesting. Oh boy. Chinese startup DeepSeek released preview versions of a new AI model today, more than a year after it stunned the world with a low-cost reasoning model that matched the capabilities of U.S. rivals. Will they do it again? How good is it? DeepSeek V4. What's the latest? $1.6 trillion parameter. The old V4 Flash too. Neato. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Huh. Not terribly bad. Obviously not going to match 5.5 from ChatGPT, but for a cheap model, that is excellent performance. Interesting. All right. New York Times reporter says Supreme Leader Khamenei's face is severely burned, has trouble speaking, and may need a prosthetic leg.
Farnaz Fasihi has covered Iran for 3 decades. Now, for this article, she interviewed 23 people in Iran. That includes senior officials, members of the Revolutionary Guards, and individuals with ties to both Ali and Muqtada Khamenei. And Farnaz, I mentioned your incredible reporting. There is so much here tonight new. Muqtada Khamenei running the country in some sense, as you describe it. Let's just start, though, with his state. His injuries, you report, are disfiguring. There have been so many rumors, but you now have some facts. Can you tell us about his physical condition?
Hi, Aaron. Thank you for having me. Muqtada Khamenei was gravely injured in the airstrikes on February 28th that started the war and killed his father, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei. He has suffered from severe leg injury. His leg has been operated on. There are suggestions that it may even be amputated, and he's waiting for a prosthetic leg. His hand has been operated on, and it's gaining functionality. And more importantly, his face and lips have been severely burned to the point where it's difficult for him to speak, and he will require plastic surgery. So we know that he's gravely injured. We know that there's the president of Iran, President Pezeshkian, who's a heart surgeon, and the health minister are in charge of his health care, and he's mostly surrounded by a medical team in a hiding place, and access to him is incredibly difficult. And that's probably one of the reasons why we haven't seen the new supreme leader in any video messages. Nobody has, and his voice has not been heard. To the extent that he's communicated, it's been with written statements read on state television.
I mean, it is incredible what you're reporting, and I know, in your article, Farnaz, you detail how, as you mentioned, he is surrounded by doctors, and to the point that senior leadership of Iran they're not able to get in to see him, to talk to him. Is that merely because they're worried about possible assassination or elimination, that this could find where he is, or?
Oh, what the? Well, whatever. Okay. Piece of junk, man. Didn't even touch it. All right, where were we here? There, okay. Well, we'll skip the rest of that. I think we got the gist. Inside a tiny home village in North Hollywood, where LA is housing people who are living on the streets. 78 beds across 39 units. And they're tiny homes. Pod people. Literal fucking pod people.
TV, my phones. Inside this North Hollywood tiny homes village for those recently sleeping outside. Is it helping you? Yeah, not being in the streets. 78 beds inside 39 tiny home units designed to get people off the street even with their pets.
Well, I was staying in Balboa Park, actually.
A transitional stop requiring no drug use inside and check-ins at least once every 3 days. Do you feel like you're getting close to getting back on your feet?
Yeah, so definitely. I'd been
I mean, interesting idea.
Software engineer for 25 years, lost my, I basically could not find work. It's good that the safety net exists, and I'm so grateful.
Glad it's working for him. That's
thankful for.
That's cool.
There's no time limit for how long someone can stay here, but the goal is to move into permanent housing.
The average length of stay is about 200 days.
Hope the mission falls under the LA-funded program of City Roadmap. According to LA Homeless Services Authority data, in 2024, they had a 10% success rate. Is yours similar to that?
So this particular site, but generally Hope the Mission, we exit about 30% of our clients into permanent housing.
It's only going to be 30% because it's a trial effort to see what works and what doesn't work.
Is it fair to say that this isn't working though? If the failure rate is 70%?
No, because what's the alternative? Have them on the street?
The county come by and offer resources or help?
Yeah. I won't take it.
Well, many people we ask on the street say they don't want help.
Interesting.
Those here said yes, and what's next depends on them.
Say in my specific case, yeah, I could not be more thankful.
Definitely wishing him luck. And walking around there tonight, the facility was very clean, and everyone we met seemed very thankful to be there.
Interesting. We're going to turn the homeless into pod people. Okay. Oh, wow. O'Keefe says, police just came to my office and confiscated all my firearms. Palm Beach. This is happening in fucking Florida? Seriously? Hakeem Jeffries celebrated Take Your Child to Work Day by taking questions from the kids of Capitol Hill Press Corps.
I'm gonna have words with you after this, Mono.
You have a favorite type of candy, and if so, what is it?
Favorite type of candy?
Yeah.
Now, I really love that question. I've been trying to eat healthy, and so actually sugar-free Hershey's chocolate has become the candy of my choice.
Oh my God.
If you were to go back and tell your middle school self one thing, what would you say?
Damn. Y'all are doing better than Meet the Press interviews right now.
One more junior reporter right here.
As long as this is not a question that your dad fed to you.
Well, actually, it is a question that my dad said.
See, this is truth coming to us.
He told me it yesterday night. Would you have voted to expel Sheila?
Sherfilis McCormick. The fraudster.
You did a great job pronouncing her name.
Fucking train wreck. Why do voters view Democrats so poorly? Oh, where do I begin, little one? On Thursday's The Right Squad. I have no. Oh, it's on Newsmax. Okay, the panel breaks down the financial disclosures of Ilhan Omar.
Was on an airplane and
Mercy, felonies, are they going to be raining down on Ilhan Omar
Oh yeah, you bet.
any minute?
well, I got to tell you, this, I was on
They have absolutely committed multiple felonies.
an airplane, and it was literally Ilhan Omar and the husband. Ilhan got to be in first class. The poor husband didn't make the cut to first class, but she did have security when she got off the plane. So
do you guys like to sit together on the planes? Or?
I like to sit with her. But I give T the update.
I gotta
Look
tell
at this freaking guy. Look at him. A doofus.
A minor accountant error. This is too big to not investigate, to further investigate. You can't go from $6 to $30 million to then just $18,000 or nothing.
And then claim it was an accounting error. Yeah, you don't just accidentally $80 million.
$95,000.
So many zeros.
And we know when you're doing your congressional disclosure forms, you are supposed to include what your spouse is earning and include that in the disclosure and what assets you may have. And obviously, this is something that what is the fishiest part of all of this is that they dissolved that winery, that so-called winery. By the way, like, what type of winery is it? What were they doing? Like, we have no idea. And this raises a bigger questions about what other
there's lots of whining.
Potential fraud she might be involved in.
Good point. It also
Certainly makes a business out of that.
makes me as a lawyer think they're going to be going after that business partner. I think law enforcement's going to be going and talk to him, maybe seeing if he's going to be cutting a deal or making any sort of remarks that might go to the heart of this. Matt, one of the things I was researching with these financial forms is you have to have intent to deceive. How hard do you think it will be to prove that? I mean, given what we've seen from her.
Look, I filled out these forms. Members of Congress fill out these forms. The reason why there's this big swing, they say, between like 8 million and 30 million, because you have boxes that have ranges on them. But I'm old now. I've never, ever known a congressperson or a candidate to disclose a $30 million asset and then
or anybody for that matter
and say, whoops.
I didn't. That was an accident, and I didn't. How?
Yeah.
What?
I don't have a $30 million asset. Now, there have been a lot of candidates and members who didn't disclose millions of dollars in assets because they didn't think they had to, and then they realized they had to, and they had to amend their form. But to say your net
the other way, no way.
Worth is between like 8 and 30 million, and then the next year your net worth is 18,000.
A little bullshit.
Or whatever. This is just begs for people to look into this, and I agree with Mercy. An asset that's worth at least $8 million that then just poof goes away after you've shown to have benefited from a bunch of scandalous government grants in Minnesota. There needs to be a big investigation here.
It's so obvious. Like,
answer your question, because the intent piece is a separate question, but I just want people to know how I've never known of a congressperson to lose all their net worth because they disclosed something and then the next year they didn't disclose it.
Yeah, what's the point of that, Tim? Like, what's the strategy here? Also, winery, $50,000, and then in 1 year it went to what, $5 million? That must be some great wine. I know.
Well, think about this. I mean,
everyone wants that Ilhan Omar wine. Chinese scientists dying mysteriously. It's just the same one guy, or same one guy. Some young guy. Or sorry, Feng Yanghe. Oh, and another one, Zhang Xiaoxin, space expert, died in a car accident. I guess car accident is their preferred method of murder over there. Chen Shuming, specialist in microelectronics, died in a similar incident, a car accident, again, in 2018. Chemist Zhou Guangyan passed away December 2023 with no official cause of death disclosed. Other cases include one Yan Hong, who died after an illness, and Feng Daining, who died following what was described as an unexpected medical episode abroad. They both worked in the field of hypersonics. Ooh. As in, like, missiles and such. Yang Daibing and data scientist Liu Donghao also died under circumstances that remain unclear. Sounds like there are quite a few, actually. Almost like there's a silent war going on between America and China. Nah, couldn't be that. White House Correspondents' Dinner scheduled for Saturday, April 25th, tomorrow, at the Washington Hilton in D.C. Trump expected to attend for the first time during his... Oh, he's actually attending, huh? With renowned mentalist Oz Perlman featured as the headline entertainer. A mentalist? Weird.
Weekend.
Don Lemon, however, is not going. But he is going to all the parties.
So I'm here in D.C. for the White House Correspondents' Dinner weekend.
Fuck it.
What? Here I went to the WABJ, which is a Washington Association of Black Journalists, and now I'm going to Simone Sanders'
how gay.
party from MS Now. So I wanted to celebrate journalism and journalists, but I'm not going to that dinner. I don't think it's right sitting around sipping champagne and pretending things are normal with an administration or regime that is really trying to kill journalism and jail journalists.
You acted like a retard, sir. You did something stupid and you're paying a price for it. Don't blame that on him. All you, buddy. Oh yeah, Michigan. Michigan Secretary of State Benson faces scrutiny over her ties to the SPLC after the group's indictment. Yep. Michigan Secretary of State and gubernatorial candidate Jocelyn Benson used to have a role at the SPLC, I guess. What did she do? And she used to be served on the board of directors. Oh, right in that time frame, 2014 through 2019. Yep, overlaps with the time frame outlined in the indictment. What did she know, and when did she know it? And what else does she know? And especially, what the fuck happened in Michigan in 2020? Damn it. Volodymyr Zelensky arrived in Saudi Arabia, set to meet Mohammed bin Salman, Crown Prince. Matt. SPLC, Trump says, one of the greatest political scams in American history, has been charged with fraud. There's another Democrat hoax along with Act Blue and many others. If it's true, the 2020 presidential election should be permanently wiped from the books and be of no further force or effect. That's coming. Iran's delegation set to arrive in Islamabad today, led by Iran's foreign minister, Raghchi. 10 cartel members linked to brother of drug lord El Chapo captured in Mexico in an operation aided by U.S. intelligence. Oh, they got him, huh? They got all the little Chapos? What did they call him? They had a name. I forget. They had a name for the bunch. Well, whatever they are, they got him. Yay, Ilhan Omar attempted to send $1.46 million in funding to an address for a nonprofit called Generation Hope. The address to receive the money is not a treatment facility, it's a restaurant. Yeah. A Somalian restaurant, I'm sure. After this was discovered, House Republicans stripped the earmarked money to Generation Hope over fraud concerns. Senators called for DOJ investigations into the group.
You guys are not going to believe this is not normal behavior at all, since before all of this insanity, from 1983 up until 2020, one singular restaurant operated out of the entire building, out of the entire 326 address. Up until then, this building promoted its restaurant. Look at this guy looking through the window. Up until 2022, when they begin to have some type of BLM thing and other political posters, that's when everything gets so out of hand. You guys are not going to believe the things in this video.
326 Cedar Avenue, and that is where we are right now. So this is 326. Ilhan Omar was trying to pass $1.46 million of taxpayers' money to Generation Hope, which is a substance abuse clinic, drug addiction place that was supposed to be operating here, but people found out that it is a restaurant.
It's the exact address where we are that she listed to receive $1.46 million.
On this day in history, 1800, President John Adams allocated $5,000 US to purchase such books as may be necessary for the use of Congress, establishing, the Library of Congress for $5,000, which was not exactly a little amount of money back then. It wasn't super massive, but it was a lot of money. Internal Pentagon email outlines options for the U.S. to punish NATO allies that it believes failed to support U.S. operations in the war with Iran, including suspending Spain from the alliance and reviewing the U.S. position on Britain's claim to the Falkland Islands. Whoa. What? That would be quite a move. Inside the House, Dem push to impeach Trump on day one. Well, paywalled, whatever.
To try to prevent you from actually viewing them.
What this? Harmeet Dillon?
What gives? What's on these voter rolls that they have to sue to try to prevent you from actually viewing them?
Well, first, let me talk about the success. Now, we've gone and asked all 50 states and the District of Columbia to give us their voter rolls. This is something that the Attorney General is entitled to under the Civil Rights Act of 1960, which is basically a transparency statute. And we're using those to try to help these states comply with their Help America Vote Act requirements to keep their voter rolls up to date. So far, at least a third of the states have complied with us voluntarily or reached settlements with us. And what we're running and finding in these voter rolls is that there are hundreds of thousands of dead people on the voter rolls, and there are quite a few suspected non-citizens on the voter rolls. And now we're digging in further to see did people actually vote and what have you. But that's alarming, and that is from the states who are cooperating with us. So imagine what the ACLU and these other groups are trying to hide vis-a-vis the states that are not cooperating with us. And what you're going to find in states like California, where in Los Angeles County, for example, in 2017, they already admitted to Judicial Watch that they had over 1 million people on the voter rolls out of 10 million who didn't belong there. So those are pretty staggering numbers when you think about how elections, like the 2020 election, for example, was really decided by tens of thousands of votes in half a dozen counties. So this is no joke, and it's really important that we get to the bottom of this. We have transparency, and voters are entitled to that.
Oh, Hegseth and Kane holding a press briefing on Iran this morning.
Unlike the endless wars of the past that dragged on for years and for decades with little to show for it, Operation Epic Fury has delivered a decisive military results in just weeks. Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, as the president has pointed out, all took years, decades. Vague missions, shifting sands, little to show for it. Operation Epic Fury has been laser focused from the very start, as I've said to all of you. Clear mission objectives, and ultimately Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. It's a bold and dangerous mission, a gift to the world, historic, courtesy of a bold and historic president. That mission continues today in this new phase as Iran has an important choice. A chance to make a deal, a good deal, a wise deal. As part of that effort, the United States has imposed an ironclad blockade that grows more powerful by the day. From the Gulf of Oman to the open oceans, our Navy is enforcing this blockade without hesitation or apology. Now, as usual, there's a lot of false information out there. I'll say this, every ship that the U.S. believes meets our criteria, either Iranian ships or to and from Iranian ports, has been turned around. As of this morning, 34 total. Non-Iranian vessels are allowed to transit, and many have, including overnight. Not only is the blockade growing, in fact, a second aircraft carrier will join the blockade in just a few days, but this growing blockade is also gone global. Just this week, we seized 2 Iranian dark fleet ships in the Indo-Pacific region that had left Iranian ports before the blockade went into effect. They thought they'd made it out just in time. They did not. We seized their sanctioned ships, and we will seize more. Our blockade is growing and going global.
Okay. Right. second. All right, what's next?
Has been reduced. The IRGC specifically has been reduced to a gang of pirates with a flag. They cloak their aggression in slogans, but the world now sees them for what they are: criminals on the high seas. They don't control anything. They're acting like pirates, acting like terrorists. They're the ones who lay indiscriminate mines, who shoot at random ships, who killed 45,000 of their own people, innocent protesters in the course of weeks. Their own people. They are the bad actors. The vessels that the Iranians seized in recent days, a couple of them, they're not American ships. They're not Israeli ships. They're just random ships that where they drove their little speedboats up to and shot at those ships with AK-47s. Anyone with a speedboat, a gun, and the wrong intentions can do that. They know that we, the United States of America, control the flow of global shipping, and we know that they know. Their real navy is at the bottom of the Arabian Gulf.
All right.
President Trump said it again yesterday. We have all the time in the world, and we're not anxious for a deal. And I hear him say it every day in private as well. Iran knows that they still have an open window to choose wisely. As we said previously, choose wisely at the negotiating table. All they have to do is abandon a nuclear weapon in meaningful and verifiable ways, or instead they can watch their regime's fragile economic state collapse under the unrelenting pressure of American power. A blockade as long as it takes, whatever President Trump decides. Because the bottom line remains the bottom line. Iran will never get a nuclear bomb. The choice is theirs, but with this blockade, the clock is not on their side. Moreover, President Trump has authorized the United States Navy to destroy any Iranian fast boats that attempt to put mines in the water or disrupt passage through the Strait of Hormuz, to shoot and kill. Our commanders have clear rules of engagement. If Iran is putting mines in the water or otherwise threatening American commercial shipping or American forces, we will shoot to destroy. No hesitation, just like the drug boats in the Caribbean. It's also worth saying, this should not be America's fight alone. We barely use the Strait of Hormuz as a country. Our energy doesn't flow through there, and we have plenty of energy. Just look at the new global Congo line, headed to Texas. A beautiful picture. Europe and Asia have benefited from our protection for decades, but the time for free riding is over. America and the free world deserve allies who are capable, who are loyal, and who understand that being an ally is not a one-way street. It's a two-way street. We are not counting on Europe, but they need the Strait of Hormuz much more than we do, and might want to start doing less talking and having less fancy conferences in Europe and getting a boat. This is much more their fight than ours. On this core mission, America's will is unshakable, our capabilities unmatched. Our blockade is only growing and going global. And as the President said, we have all the time in the world. Iran has a historic chance to make a serious deal, and the ball is in their court. Either way, the War Department stands ready for what comes next, locked and loaded.
U.S. Central Command continues to...
Now, Dan Kane.
First, as I mentioned, U.S. Central Command continues to maintain a strict blockade on all the ports. We're enforcing the blockade across the board against any ship of any nationality that is transiting to or from an Iranian port or territory. We're closely tracking vessels of interest headed towards Iran and those moving away from Iran that were outside the blockade area when this blockade was ordered. And as everyone saw this past weekend, we're prepared and postured to intercept them. As of this morning, 34 ships have met the U.S. blockade and made the wise choice to turn around. One ship did not, and that ship was the motor vessel Tuska. Over several hours this past Sunday, April 19th, the U.S. conducted maritime interdiction operations against the Tuska, whose crew attempted to breach the blockade line. The Tuska is a large container ship, about 965 feet long, or about the same size as a United States Navy aircraft carrier, and over 100 feet wide. The operation began about 4 a.m. Eastern Standard Time when the United States Navy destroyer approached her, and the crew and the vessel ignored warnings. And I've described how the destroyer force is operating in the area prior. Upon intercept and coming within visual range, American forces began to issue several clear and unambiguous warnings and inform the vessel and their crew that they were in a violation of the U.S. blockade and directed the ship to turn around. Over a 6-hour period, the vessel and her crew repeatedly ignored U.S. warnings. And then the U.S. Navy destroyer executed a series of pre-planned, carefully calibrated escalation options, including firing 5 warning shots. The vessel and her crew continued to ignore warnings. And after exhausting all other measures, CENTCOM authorized disabling fire against the Tuska. U.S. sailors warned the crew of the Tuska to abandon the engine room, and at approximately 9 a.m. Eastern Time, the destroyer disabled the Tuska's engine by firing 9 inert rounds from the destroyer's Mark 45 5-inch guns precisely into the engine room and engine space on board the Tuska.
Pretty badass.
Not surprisingly, the vessel then reported issues with their engine, went dead in the water, and began to comply with U.S. directions and orders. At 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, CENTCOM ordered United States Marines to seize the ship. Via helicopters, U.S. Marines maneuvered quickly to the disabled ship, boarded her from fast ropes via helicopter infiltration methods, and took custody of the ship. The ship and her crew remain safe in U.S. custody today. Let me now turn to global operations in the Pacific, and I want to highlight that this is a major interagency effort between the United States military, the White House, the Department of Homeland Security, and the Department of Justice.
Kane describes the successful interdictions carried out by U.S. forces.
On Monday, April 20th, U.S. Indo-PACOM forces, in support of a Department of Justice request, interdicted the motor tanker Tiffany, which was transporting sanctioned Iranian oil. The Tiffany is a very large crude tanker, VLCC for short, and is also about the size of a U.S. aircraft carrier and capable of transporting approximately 2 million barrels of oil. At approximately 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time, U.S. military forces and law enforcement forces also went to the ship via rotary wing platforms, fast-roped onto her deck, and secured her. After the ship was secured, a U.S. Navy control team embarked aboard the Tiffany, and assumed control of the ship at 4 a.m. Eastern Time on April 21st. A Navy control team is comprised of sailors led by a boarding officer that assumes control of a seized ship in order to secure the crew, the cargo, and the vessel. And disposition of that first vessel is still pending. The next interdiction occurred on Wednesday, this past Wednesday, 22 April, when Indo-PACOM conducted yet another interdiction, again at the request of the U.S. Department of Justice. This time, the stateless motor tanker Majestic X, also known as the Ponix, also in the Indian Ocean. This is again a VLCC, or very large crude tanker, At approximately 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, U.S. forces began the interdiction, again using rotary wing assets to get to the ship, got on board, and secured the bridge. Both ships, the Tiffany, the Majestic X, and their crews remain in U.S. custody. And we will continue to conduct similar maritime interdiction actions and activities in the Pacific and Indian Oceans against Iranian ships and vessels of the Dark Fleet.
Okay.
And proudly,
Chairman Kane praises our U.S. intelligence professionals.
Today, I want to highlight and proudly describe the essential role of our intelligence enterprise and the role that they play in conducting our military operations. The totality of their work is the culmination of days, months, and in many cases, years of work by our uniformed and civilian intelligence professionals. We have been able to do the work that we are ordered to do because America's intelligence force, including our core collectors and analysts, have spent decades searching for every loose thread. From the determination of a particular intelligence requirement to that piece of intelligence being collected in the field by a military or interagency case officer to the rigorous analysis that goes into reporting on that finding, those team members spend their careers answering the incredibly important questions that we must attempt to answer before, during, and after operations. They live in the enemy's mind. Normally located behind the green door or behind the vault door in dark, windowless rooms across the world, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, are world-class intel members from DIA, our service intelligence components, NSA, NGA, CIA, NRO, and in the case of the operations that I've just described, the Office of Naval Intelligence, all work tirelessly to sift through the mountains of collected information using tools, tactics, techniques, and procedures that I'm not going to discuss today. The sun never sets on these world-class professionals, and their goal is every minute of every day to be on the account. And they know the enemy. They know their combat capability, their weapons, their industrial and economic systems, and they know their leaders' pattern of life, where they go, what they think, and what they do. Thanks to their work, we know Iran, and it is an incredible work that they do. Again, none of our operations that we've conducted during my time in this job could have been done without the service of these intelligence professionals. And the distance from those core collectors and those analysts to those Patriot crews who are defending U.S. forces forward or the fighter pilots is incredibly small. Every single day, as their mottos say, they are committed to excellence in the defense of the nation and to securing the future, and they're doing the work of the nation.
What we've undertaken at this department is a historic Afghanistan review. So we have, over the course of months, reviewed what happened leading up to and including the events at Abbey Gate and the disastrous withdrawal in Afghanistan. There's never actually been a full accounting in this department of the decisions that were made. There's been sort of papered over congressional attempts, but never a real deep dive where we brought everybody in to talk about what happened and why it happened. That has happened. That review will come later this summer, and I think you'll find it to be probably the most comprehensive review this department has ever done about a single series of events. And it's because the cascading effect of what Joe Biden did in abandoning that mission the way that he did and that disastrous withdrawal had ripple effects for our military, for our country, and for the world. That's why reestablishing deterrence is one of the core pillars of what we've been doing at the War Department, is because the world looked at that disaster and made choices. Vladimir Putin made choices. Hamas made choices and saw that America wouldn't do anything about it. Houthis shot at ships. They made choices because Joe Biden and his administration were seen as feckless and weak. And that withdrawal was a part of what the world saw, people hanging to planes as we fled. That deserves a full accounting. Operation Epic Fury has delivered a decisive military results in just weeks. Korea, Vietnam, Iraq, Afghanistan, as the president has pointed out, all took years, decades. Vague missions, shifting sands, little to show for it. Operation Epic Fury has been laser-focused from the very start, as I've said to all of you. Clear mission objectives, and ultimately, Iran will not have a nuclear weapon. It's a bold and dangerous mission, a gift to the world, historic, courtesy of a bold and historic president. That mission continues today, in this new phase, as Iran has an important choice, a chance to make a deal, a good deal, a wise deal. As part of that effort, the United States has imposed an ironclad blockade that grows more powerful by the day. From the Gulf of Oman to the open oceans, our Navy is enforcing this blockade without hesitation or apology. Now, as usual, there's a lot of false information out there. I'll say this, every ship that the U.S. believes meets our criteria, either Iranian ships or to and from Iranian ports, has been turned around. As of this morning, 34 total. Non-Iranian vessels are allowed to transit, and many have, including overnight. Not only is the blockade growing, in fact, a second aircraft carrier will join the blockade in just a few days, but this growing blockade is also gone global. Just this week, we seized 2 Iranian dark fleet ships in the Indo-Pacific region that had left Iranian ports before the blockade went into effect. They thought they'd made it out just in time. They did not. We seized their sanctioned ships, and we will seize more. Our blockade is growing and going global. America's military is unmatched, projecting power, denying passage to adversaries, and protecting our interest at the time and place of our choosing. No one sails from the Strait of Hormuz to anywhere in the world without the permission of the United States Navy. To the regime in Tehran, the blockade is tightening by the hour. We are in control, nothing in, nothing out. Iran's battered military, the IRGC specifically, has been reduced to a gang of pirates with a flag. They cloak their aggression in slogans, but the world now sees them for what they are, criminals on the high seas. They don't control anything. They're acting like pirates, acting like terrorists. They're the ones who lay indiscriminate mines, who shoot at random ships, who killed 45,000 of their own people, innocent protesters in the course of weeks. Their own people. They are the bad actors. The vessels that the Iranians seized in recent days, a couple of them, they're not American ships. They're not Israeli ships. They're just random ships that where they drove their little speedboats up to and shot at those ships with AK-47s. Anyone with a speedboat, a gun, and the wrong intentions can do that. They know that we, the United States of America, control the flow of global shipping, and we know that they know. Their real Navy is at the bottom of the Arabian Gulf. It's worth saying again, for 47 years, Iran has been at war with America, killing our citizens, our soldiers, and our allies, while previous administrations looked the other way. The real endless war is the war that Iran has waged on us for 47 years. President Trump is the only president with the guts and moral clarity to finally do something about it. I see it every day behind closed doors. President Trump's fortitude is unshakable, and his mission is crystal clear. President Trump said it again yesterday. We have all the time in the world, and we're not anxious for a deal. And I hear him say it every day in private as well. Iran knows that they still have an open window to choose wisely. As we said previously, choose wisely.
Cut off.
About bombing people in places.
Now we get to questions here.
And when you give these orders to carry out this extreme level of violence, what's going through your mind and your body? Do you have like an adrenaline rush? Are you scared? Do you feel like you're on a power trip? Just walk us through.
These fucking questions, man.
And paint us a picture.
It's shameless.
Of what it feels.
Insane.
Carry out this. Do you feel like you're on a power trip? Just walk us through and paint us a picture.
Do you feel like you're on a power trip?
Of what it feels like mentally and physically.
It's a very TMZ question.
Yeah.
My only thought process is to ensure that our warfighters have everything they need to be successful, defeat and destroy the enemy, and they come home. I want them to feel empowered, to have every authority they need within our rules and within our law to bring maximum violence to the enemy. Because war is violent. War requires doing difficult things, but I want our people to feel empowered, so it's our guys that come home and their guys that do not.
I've heard you talk a lot about bombing people.
Poverty Law Center.
Chris Cuomo apparently very upset about the DOJ indicting the SPLC. Oh, that's funny.
Southern Poverty Law Center is paying the KKK. That's bullshit.
Yeah, no, it's not, Chris. It's in black and white on paper. They did it.
Here's the real question. Why would you go after somebody who's fighting extremist groups?
They were paying them, not fighting them.
What do you want, extremist groups to flourish?
Well, apparently the SPLC did.
You want to go after one of the main places that checks them?
Oh, this is so bonkers.
Chris, how you doing? So, New York City. That's my question. Is why are they going after the Southern Poverty Law Center? I mean, seriously, you want to help the KKK? They're paying informants for information about toxic organizations so they can find ways to infiltrate and fight against what they're trying to do. Who wants to make it easier for the bad guys? What is this lawsuit about? What a waste of our tax dollars. But more importantly, what a demonstration of being about something that's wrong, trying to help the bad guys. This is a bullshit lawsuit. But what's more scary is why they're bringing it. Southern Poverty Law Center is paying.
Iran state media confirms Iranian Foreign Minister Araghchi is traveling to Pakistan. Yep. On the way. For the first time in decades, 3 aircraft carriers are operating in the Middle East at the same time, accompanied by their carrier air wings, USS Abraham Lincoln, Gerald R. Ford, and the USS George H.W. Bush. Include over 200 aircraft and 15,000 sailors and Marines. Dang. Loading cities. Democrats' official X account deleted a post mocking a top Asian Trump aide's height. Oh, Hung Kao? What was the post? I don't remember him being short. Like, not that short. Yeah, no, he's not. He's just a very average height guy. I mean, Trump's relatively tall. And how silly. I guess, what's his name's a freaking giant. Youngkin. Depraved. Oh, man. Depraved middle school teacher allegedly used AI to make and use child pornography at work, at school, at the middle school, hiding in plain sight. Was he making images of the kids that he was in charge of? Like, oh my gosh. Oh, I'm not even going to say that out loud. Looks the part, though. The defendant admitted to generating the child assault material of prepubescent children and tapping to them at work. Middle school science teacher. A law came into force in Nebraska in September that makes the creation of AI-generated child pornography a Class 1D felony for adults, with a maximum sentence of 50 years in prison. Good. Cuba received a 100,000 metric ton oil shipment from Russia, providing temporary relief from the blackouts. Gonna be short-lived, though. That's not gonna last long. Covered that one. Mythos sparked fear as AI advances faster than it can be safely deployed. In a world where cybersecurity is becoming more important, Mythos and what it represents may present the Defense Department with a reason to reconsider. And yet, OpenAI just dumped ChatGPT 5.5 out into the open, probably pretty close to as capable as this in a lot of ways.
If you look at the AI sector landscape more broadly, what you've seen...
I'm telling you, the only reason that Anthropic did not release this is because they don't have the computing power to service the world. They can support a handful of defense and cyber security industry companies, but every user on their platform, nope, not right now.
Is OpenAI?
They're already having trouble as it is. OpenAI, on the other hand, is not. They went on like a freaking data center spree, which was clearly the right move.
This early dominance being challenged increasingly by Anthropic.
Anthropic is drawing investor interest at a valuation.
OpenAI has continued their 2x usage limit increase through the end of May, so like another 40 freaking days of double the typical usage limits. It's basically like a bottomless pit. I cannot find the bottom. Like, I cannot use all of my account. It's so, like, there's so much there. And I code all day long. Believe me. I'm doing it now. I'm doing it while I'm talking to you. So, I even do it while I sleep. And I still can't find the bottom of that well. So they've clearly made the right move. My Anthropic account, on the other hand, not so much. I am constantly hitting up against the limits of that. Only just, but yeah, they're struggling. They're struggling to meet the demand. Might see them fall behind after this most recent flop with Opus 4.7 and GPT 5.5 completely wiping the floor with it, and and being able to serve all of their customers and more. They're onboarding more. Usage of their Codex coding app is like doubling every couple weeks. It's nuts. Sam Altman creeps me the fuck out, but it is very difficult to deny the utility of their products. They make really good stuff. Of course, the company's a lot bigger than Sam Altman. The talk is that Sam Altman really doesn't know jack diddly squat anyway. It's all the people under him. He's basically like a manipulator and a wacko that knows how to use people and manipulate them, but doesn't know how to code or really understand the products that he's making at all. It's all the fact that he has smart people, which I guess is a talent in and of itself, sure, but yeah, I've been thoroughly impressed with OpenAI's products lately. And I think you can still do it for free? I don't know if they let you access Codex for free, but definitely a good time to start playing around with it if you've ever wanted to like build anything for your business. It It blows my mind every time I pick it up and use it. Just mind-blowing how good it is. And not just theirs either, but all of them. Like, Claude, open code, which I showed you guys the other day. That's the one I would really recommend if you want to stay away from supporting like Sam Altman and friends directly. It's kind of a pick your poison thing though. Like if you're not supporting them, you're supporting the Chinese companies. So take your pick. I don't know. I just do them all. But OpenCode's excellent if you're like on a budget. Get OpenCode Go. $5 for the first month, 10 a month after that. And if you're a casual user, you'll never find the bottom of that. It'll be plenty. And they have a desktop app too. You don't even need to use the command line, the terminal. You don't have to use that stuff. You can just use their desktop app. Let me pull that up real quick. It's quite nice. Yep. Oh, new version. Do it. Yeah, you can do games now, man. It's crazy. Let me see if I can find some of that real quick. Oh, maybe it was ChatGPT. Yeah, look at this. ChatGPT might actually be on the GPT 5.5 intro page here. Let me see. Yeah, here we go. I think this is it. 3D game. In one prompt. Did this in one go. One shot. Prompt was create a 3D game using 3.js. Should be a UFO shooter where I control a tank and shoot UFOs flying overhead, along with 5 like very simple rules. And it just bangs that out in one shot. And even more complex stuff. This probably took a whole bunch more, obviously, but look at that. You now design stuff like this without understanding, well, really any of what you're doing. It's crazy. It's really cool. I would have done backflips, repeat backflips in pure and utter joy if something like this existed when I was a kid. I wanted so badly to be able to like make games like this as a young kid. But the learning curve is just insane. I haven't even really played with this yet. I haven't done the gaming side of things at all. I'm gonna probably dive into that with my little one here in a bit over the next month or two. She wants to make a little game based on a character she designed. Cute little kitty cat. So I think we're going to try to make a game out of it together. It'll be a lot of fun. What else can it do? Oh, this was pretty nuts, man. This was really cool. This is what is this? A NASA JPL. Okay, render trajectory uses NASA JPL vector data for the Orion spacecraft, the moon, the sun, and it calculates all of the like the trajectory of the orbits and outputs this freaking neato 3D design. That is just so effing cool that anyone can just go and build that. Or anything like it. Oh, cool. Marvin D says, I made a small web shooting game with Star Wars planes. What'd you use? Claude? GPT? The stuff is getting incredible. Amazing. Oh, here's a... Oh, neat. A website. An earthquake tracker. Just track earthquakes in real time. You just hook it up to like real-time data feeds, and it turns it into this visual display. That is so cool. I already think of a half dozen ways I'm going to be able to use that. I really wish frickin' Grok would get on it. I cannot wait to see what they put together with Cursor, now that they've purchased Cursor for, again, $60 billion effing dollars, which blows my mind. They could absolutely upend the market after doing that. With what they've already got, which is quite a bit. Coming from everything they've developed at Tesla and SpaceX. I mean, they got global data, they got robotics, vision. They combine a capable coding platform like Cursor with their Grok model. That could get pretty interesting if they price it reasonably. All right, what else we got cooking out there? Oh, look at this. ChatGPT Pro made this game in one prompt with all the enemies' textures and features. Let me see it. What? What? I don't quite understand the concept, but this is pretty amazing. They can just bang out a game like this that, I mean, what, like 20 years ago, this would have been beyond state of the art. People would have been like, what? What was 20 years ago? Yeah, well, I guess that would have been about, yeah, like PlayStation 1 era, right? Maybe it's more like 25 years. Late 90s, early 2000s. And it can just bang out something like that in a single prompt. It's just nuts. Oh, cool. A 3D space shooter? Ah! Wow, that's actually really pretty. Neat little sound effects. Amazing. Yeah, the gaming world's going to get pretty wild as this stuff continues to develop. Especially when they start working in games that are kind of like programmed on the fly by AI. You know, like it's not just a set path that you walk through the game world on. It's something that's changing at any given moment. With the AI, like, you know, programming new events and characters on the fly. Just like every person has a different experience. It's going to get really fascinating. Not really a big gamer at all anymore. Used to be, but it's going to get wild. Especially with the 3D graphics side of things. AI kind of coming into that. I think I played one of those the other day. Not 45, damn you. There you go. Jeez, that's crazy. Shit, man, we could be living in a video game from the year 2050 right now. Wouldn't even know it. Actually getting that crazy that quick. Creepy to think about. Okay. Let's keep going. We got like 10 minutes left and a little bit more news we can pick through.
Sector landscape more broadly. If you look at the AI sector landscape more broadly, what you've seen is OpenAI's early dominance being challenged increasingly by Anthropic.
Anthropic is drawing
not anymore.
Investor interest at a valuation of $800
They had that going, but they've flopped it so big this month.
billion or higher.
Making it close to, if not the most valuable startup in the world.
Yeah.
Turbocharging the hype is Anthropic's latest model called Mythos.
Only a small number of companies outside of Anthropic have access to it, and on a limited basis.
Apparently it got hacked, and some hackers got early access to it. That's become a big deal over the last week. You might have even seen some talk about that in the news.
Release has been dubbed Project Glasswing, and all the participants include a who's who of Silicon Valley.
We know that Apple, Google, Palo Alto Networks, CrowdStrike, the Linux Foundation, Amazon, they're a part of this Glasswing project. It's a highly unusual arrangement. These are fierce competitors who are trying to get the best model out there, and Anthropic is not only showing them sort of some IP that hasn't been released yet, they're allowing their competitors to potentially criticize some of the work that they did.
The unorthodox rollout has generated a lot of publicity, and already there are reports of unauthorized users accessing the model.
This is
there we
terribly
go.
basic cybersecurity practice 101
It's nuts.
that was missed here.
Like they have fumbled the ball so many times this month. It's just crazy.
We have been hearing about this theoretical threat that AI poses to cybersecurity, and what Mythos has proven is that that threat is a reality.
There are big worries that this, if it falls into the wrong hands, it could essentially lead to some of the greatest cyber risks that humanity's ever faced.
With massive potential for havoc and the stakes so high.
Has that already happened? We don't know. It may have. People have apparently gotten access to it that we're not supposed to, so.
Is tech's era of move fast and break things finally over?
No, it's not. So it's just beginning. You think it's bad now? You wait. Watch the rest of this year play out. Total havoc. It's going to be a wild ride. First Lady Melania Trump announced the expansion of the White House Honey program, installing a fully functioning beehive on the South Lawn. Neato. And it's styled like the White House? The bees have their own White House? It's adorable. Look at all the little friends. Aw. They're so cute. It's really neat. I want some White House honey. Whose ass do you have to scratch to get one of those? That's pretty neat. AI fueling a surge in crypto fraud schemes. Oh, it's just all fraud schemes generally. For one victim, there's nothing left. Is this the... Oh no, it's another... I was thinking it was the lady. Oh no, maybe it is. Yeah, it is her. Yep. I guess her first name is Kyle. Whatever. Kyle here responded to a message about investing from home and ended up losing her life savings to a scammer. On Florida's Key Biscayne, a waterfront property with a helipad, dang, is listing for $237 million. It's the Scarface house. A dang nice house. Oh my God, look at that. They've even got a Mitchell, like right, look at that, right in the front window. The camera, look at this. Look at that, right there. Probably the camera used on the movie. That's so cool. That's really freaking neat. Gorgeous place, though. Man, oh man. If only I were a 237 million heir. Property was once part of a compound that Richard Nixon used as his winter White House. I did not know that. Interesting. Asking AI health questions. Use with caution, researchers say. Okay, tell me more. 2 newly published studies offer a flashing yellow light for anyone who searches for health answers on AI chatbots. Oh, you got to know what you're doing, though. Like, you better not just, like, jump onto ChatGPT and throw it a question. You need to, like, understand how to hook it up to proper knowledge bases and, like, how to filter through what it's looking at and how to understand what it's like. There's all kinds of stuff that you have to set up in order to get it functioning properly with stuff like that. Actually, not too dissimilar from coding. But if you know what you're doing, you can do things like sequencing your own genome in your living room. Like, you can build a frickin'... There's just a story about that. A guy literally built a DNA wet lab, like, in his basement and sequenced his own genome. Like, without sending his DNA out to a lab. Like, he literally built the lab without any knowledge of his own. This is all through just like interfacing with ChatGPT, and he was able to build a fully functioning lab in his own home, and was able to fully sequence his own genome without having to send a sample out to, you know, a third-party company and all the risks that come with that. It's amazing. Pretty hard to deny how insane that is. Let me see if I can find the story on it. Yeah, here it is. There you go. Reddit user vibe coded his own wet lab and sequenced his entire genome at home using... Oh, sorry, it was Claude. It was not ChatGPT. My bad. Sorry, Claude. He says he simply asked Claude how to sequence my whole genome at home, and it walked him through the entire process, including all the equipment needed, reagents, custom protocols, and more. ChatGPT refused. Interesting. Used an Oxford Nanopore Midland sequencer, which is... It's a fascinating little piece of tech. It literally has like the nanopore, which is like a single micron thick little hole that the DNA is like crammed through in order to basically squeeze it into a single strand that can then be read and sequenced. Crazy. He then checked the results with his 20. Okay. So he had done a 23andMe before in order to compare his home results against to see if they were accurate and if he had in fact done it right. That's freaking crazy, man. Then you can take that and do all kinds of things with it, I would imagine, looking for disease risk and custom gene therapy treatments for who knows what. All, again, without like sending it out to a third-party company that could then take your DNA and do whatever God knows what with it. Pretty wild times. Happy Arbor Day, National Mall. Cherry blossoms still in bloom. Beautiful. Oh, wow. John Cornyn has a Spanish language ad pushing amnesty. Are you shitting me?
El uno al otro, Texas tiene una mano tranquila y firme.
Oh, sí, sí.
Cuidándonos. El senador John Cornyn. El senador Cornyn ha luchado para detener
El senador John Cornyn.
el tráfico sexual.
El voto.
Especialmente a lo largo de la frontera. Él apoya la reforma policial. Y mientras el senador Cornyn está a favor...
How ridiculous. Wow. All right. Anything last minute here before I leave you guys? Kellogg putting toys back into cereal boxes. They took them out? Yay. Well, I'm glad they're putting them back, I guess. SPLC was not dismantling these groups. It was instead manufacturing the extremism it purports to oppose. Wow, this is playing on CBS.
40 years ago, the Southern Poverty Law Center bankrupted the Klan and later recovered millions from neo-Nazi groups, with lawsuits representing victims of violence. But Tuesday, the tables turned. The Justice Department charged the organization with fraud for allegedly misleading donors and lying to financial institutions by paying members of violent extremist groups millions of dollars to act as informants.
The SPLC was not dismantling these groups. It was instead manufacturing the extreme...
Oh, well, that's just his quote, not CBS, but interesting they're covering it. Seemingly, reasonably. Okay, Elizabeth Warren campaigning today for Brad Lander. Who cares? Yeah. Macron says he will leave politics after the 2027 election, after his second term ends. Virginia AG on if redistricting language was misleading. There was a campaign where sides made case. What? It was misleading. It was misleading as heck. It was disgusting. Yeah, Jay Jones is a scumbag. Total piece of human filth, garbage. All right. This is all pretty boring. We'll skip all that. All right. That does it for me. We are at the top of the hour. And Miss Sandy's here.
Top of the hour.
What's
nice
poppin'?
haircut.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. How you doing?
Nice, good. It's Friday.
Yes, it is. You ready
Is
for the
anybody
weekend?
Gonna get yes. Okay, I'm very excited. Today's my daughter's prom. It's
Oh,
my
cool.
youngest. Yes, this is it. Oh, it's so exciting.
Neat. Well,
Yeah,
I got
how are you?
my little brother's wedding tomorrow. And then,
That's exciting.
oh yeah, I forgot to mention you guys. I'm gonna be gone all next week. I'm gonna miss you guys. I'm pressed for cash though. I'm broke, so I got a big job I got to take for the next week. So I'm gonna be out, and you will not see me. People will be filling in for me Monday through Friday. So I'm gonna miss you guys.
You
but
will be missed. Yes, you will be missed.
Well, I'll let you get to it.
Do you have Cash App? Hold on. I'm about to be all bossy.
Yeah,
do you
I do.
have like Buy Me a Coffee, Cash App, you know, I mean, everybody is watching this, you know, over here all the time. If anyone, especially today's payday, if anyone, it's on your heart, throw some toward Pam and the family. It'll help.
Thank you.
Food is expensive, gas is expensive, and you're always here giving your time. So, you guys, and plus there's a wedding tomorrow, so that would be really wonderful too. Because, you know, we got to come through for the family.
I got to have some cash to throw him, you know. So at least something, right?
Yes, something. So that would be very sweet, you guys, and appreciate it.
I'm dropping all the links out there. I'll drop my personal PayPal out there, too.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, personal PayPal is even better, you guys. Cash
I appreciate
App,
you
they
mentioning
take
that.
money.
Thank you. Because I always forget, and I'm terrible about asking for money.
I know, because it's awkward, but it's easy when someone else is doing it.
Right? Yeah.
You know?
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure. Totally. Thank you for letting me be a part of PSB.
Always, yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure to provide the platform and give you the space.
Yes. Bump, bump. Very exciting.
I'll let
We're
you get
going
to
to
it.
watch. Thank you.
Have a good show.
Hi, guys. Thanks. You guys, please hook.
All right, guys, I'm out. I'll see you. I am, yeah, again, I'm going to be gone. You'll see me at Reset here and there briefly, but that's it. Well, I guess you guys, YouTube won't, but I will catch you guys when I can.